Hello guys, welcome back once again. I still remain your one and only Ceefashion Academy. Today I'm going to teach you a very special topic. The topic which is what? How to cut a high waist short. So this topic is going to be very interesting. Please, I want you guys to do one thing for me before we start. I want you to make sure you go to my subscribe button. Go and click on that subscribe button. Go and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. And also make sure you like this video, because the more you like this video, the more others get to see it. Please make sure you share this video. Share it on your social media platform so that your friends can be able to enjoy the same thing you're enjoying. Okay, please, there is one mistake you always do whenever you're watching my video. That mistake is to do what? Not watch it till the end, because when you watch it to the end, you'll be able to uncover all the secrets of cutting. Please, I want you guys to know something. Whatever I teach you here has been tested and done what? Trusted. Please make sure you watch to the end. It's very, very important, because so many people used to ask me questions, and when they ask me questions, I used to wonder, like, did they finish this? Because the truth is that the answer to their questions are always in the video. So please make sure you finish watching this video. Thank you very much. Okay, so before we start, we need to look at the measurement for short making. Now the measurement, as you can see, we have our what? Tie is what? 22 inches. We have the round waist is what? 30 inches. We have the hip line is 10.5 inches. Now we have the round hip, which is what? 38 inches. We have the short length, which is what? 19 inches. We have the crotch length, which is what? 12.5 inches. We have the what? Short base, that is the base part of the short, the circumference. We have the what? 18 inches. Okay, now there's something I really want to tell us. Now as you can see this is my hip line, and you can see the what? The crotch length, which is what? 12.5. Please, I want to make this thing very, very clear. Now I gave us a formula to use for our what? Jumpsuit. Whenever we are cutting our jumpsuit, I gave this like on how to what? Get our crotch length. Now this formula goes this way. I usually say the round hip divided by 4 plus 3, and I said on that jumpsuit the 3 inches is for the what? Ease, so that whenever you want to sit down with your jumpsuit, you can be able to sit comfortably. Not when you want to sit down, the crotch will be hooking you. You cannot be able to sit down very well. So that was what I gave you guys this exact formula for the what? Jumpsuit. Please, I want you to also know that this formula is still the same thing for the what? Crotch length of the what? High waist. Please, it's very, very important. It's very important you know this formula. Okay, so how did I really get the crotch length? Now look at it now. The round hip, which is what? 38 divided by 4, is going to give us what? 9.5. That is 9.5. Now you now added these 3 inches to it. What are you getting? 12.5. So that is actually how I got this what? 12.5. Now let me tell you another secret. See, I release points here, like very, very important points here. Please make sure you focus, listen. Okay, now I've given you the secret to what? Getting your what? Crotch length for high waist. Please note, this high waist depends on where you actually want your own to start. You understand? But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm using this method, which I know will work for most and every one of us. Okay, now as you can see, the hip line, which is what? 10.5. You'll be wondering, how did we get this hip line? Since the crotch length is 12.5, please always minus 2 inches to it. Hip line is usually 2 inches above the what? Crotch line. Please always know that. Okay, so now we are done with this. Next thing we are going to do now is to do what? Please, first of all, whenever you are cutting anything, we always know, first of all, what thing we do is what we usually fold. Okay, now in this case, what are we going to fold with? You are going to fold with the what? Tie. Please, we are using almost the same method we use in cutting trouser to cut this short. So if you have not watched my video on how to cut trouser or how to cut jumpsuit or all these things, please, I'll put it in the description box. Please make sure you go and watch it. It will be very, very important. Even watching the trouser will help you understand this one better. You understand? Okay, so as you can see, the tie is what? 22. So 22 is our highest circumference in this case. Please note, whenever you are cutting trouser, whenever you are cutting short, whenever you are cutting jump, whenever I say highest circumference based on whenever you are cutting trouser, please don't always go by the what? Round hip. Go by the what? Tie. Tie is what? 22 inches. Now 22 divided by 2 is going to be what? 11. Now see what we are going to do after you finish folding your now see what you are going to do. You are going to fold what? 11 inches. Now look at it. Now you mark out what? 11 inches. Now look at it. Please look at it very well. 11. Now please, at the same time as you've marked out 11, please do one thing for me. Make sure you divide that 11 by 2, which is what? 5.5. Now this half is the what? Ghetto line. This is where the ghetto line is going to be. Okay, now do the same thing down, all the way down. Do it all the way down. You understand? Do it all the way down in order to get a what? Straight line, which after we are going to connect with our what? Rule. Please do it all the way down. Okay, so as you can see, now we are done, and we now have to do what? Connect it together in order to form our straight line. Okay, so now we form the straight line. Next thing we are going to do is to do what? To mark out our measurement points. Now in this case, our measurement points are from waist to the what? Hip line, from waist to the what? Crotch line, then from waist to the what? Short length and what? Allowance. Okay, now let's do that. From waist to the crotch length is what? 12.5. Now look at it, 12.5. Okay, mark it, 12.5. Okay, now from waist to the hip line is what? 10.5. Remember what I said? For you to always get your hip line, please, even if you did not measure your hip line, know that hip line is usually from what? See, if this is the crotch length, just step up by what? 2 inches, you get your what? Hip line. Okay, now next is what? The short length. The short length is what? The short length is what? 19 inches. Okay, so mark out your what? 19 inches. This is what? 19 inches. Now you now give what? 2 inches for hemming allowance. Make sure you mark out what? 2 inches for hemming allowance. Then after, next thing you do is what? You take your rule and connect in order to draw a straight line. Okay, now you are done. Next thing you need to do is to label. Here is the waistline. Here is the waistline. Here is the what? Hip line. Here is the what? Crotch length. Crotch line. Here is the what? Short length. And here is the what? Allowance for the what? Folding or hemming. Okay, so when you finish, next thing you are going to do now is to do what? Mark out the what? Crotch. To form the what? Crotch. Now for you to form the crotch, please, I'm going to teach you the simplest method of doing that. And the simplest method is, now you have your what? Round hip. Round hip is what? 38 inches. Now this 38 inches divided by 4 is going to give us what? 9.5. Now from here, mark out your what? 9.5. Are you seeing it? This is in order to do what? Form the what? Crotch. Now mark out your what? 9.5. Now look at it from here, mark out your 9. Then next thing you are going to do is to do what? Connect in order to form your what? Crotch. Okay. No. Connect to the where? Not to the hip line, to the what? Crotch line. Are you seeing it? Not to the hip line. Okay. So next thing you are going to do now is what? You are going to form the what? Crotch curve. Now in order for you to form the crotch curve, you remember whenever we want to form curve, what we usually do is what? If you follow in my videos, you notice that I usually mark this 1 inch diagonally. Are you seeing it? 1 inch diagonally. Then after that, you form the what? Crotch curve. Are you saying it? Now we have formed it. So next thing we are going to do is to what? Impute the what? Circumference of the what? Base. The short like the circumference of the base of the short. You understand? So we are going to impute. So now the short base circumference is what? 18 inches. Now we are going to divide that 18 inches by what? 4. Dividing it by 4 gives us what? 4.5. Okay, now look at it very well. Now place it here. Are you seeing it? See the 4.5. Now mark out the 4.5 here. Now also take your tape and mark here. Mark out your what? 4.5. Now as you can see, when you put two of them together, what are you getting? 9 inches. Are you seeing it? 4.5 here, 4.5 here. Together is what? 9 inches. Now this 9 inches times 2 gives you what? 18 inches. Okay, also do the same thing at this very allowance part. Do the same thing. Okay, now you are done. Next thing you are going to do is what? You are going to connect. Okay, so connect from this crotch side to this part. Are you seeing it? Now finish your connection. Okay, also do the same thing here. Connect and also do what? Finish your connection. Okay, now we are done here. Next thing we are going to do is to do what? We are going to what? Impute the what? Waist circumference. Now the waist circumference is what? 30 inches. Now 30 inches divided by 4 is going to give us what? 7.5. Now place your tape from here, from this crotch side, mark out your what, 7.5. now left to me ordinarily, I usually add my allowance at the back of the short, not in front. So left to me, I will leave this 7.5 exactly this way and connect it towards this side. But because so many people are calling me, they are complaining, you know, I now had to, you know, always advise them to also do what, after marking out the waist circumference, always add what, half or 1 inch to it, depending on how you sew. You understand? So now I've done that. Next thing is to connect to these very points. But please, there is this important thing I really need to let us know. You don't connect directly to the hip. Why? Because assuming you connect directly to the hip, when you are cutting, you might end up cutting some part of the hip. And remember, there's no allowance on this front part, it's only at the back. So you don't need to tamper with your allowance or play with your allowance. So in other words, what we are going to do is what? From this hip part, you are going to step up by what? 2 inches. So this 2 inches is the main part, the part that we usually what? Connect to the what? Waist. Okay, as you can see, we are done with our what? Short, high waist short. As you can see, we are done with our high waist short. Now, so many of us will want to ask me, why is it that, see, but what of the curve we usually apply at the waist? Please, so far as it is high waist, you don't need to apply any curve at the waist, any waist effect. Why? Because it is not at the regular waist, so no need of applying any what? Waist effect. Do you understand? Assuming it is at the regular waist, you apply it so that the trouser has to what? For the trouser to what? Balance very well, but it is not there. It is almost just at the nerve there, you know, the high waist. So you don't need to effect, and you need to do what? Leave it straight. So after that, next thing you need to do is to do what? Cut it off. Then use it and to do what? Cut the what? Back part. Okay, as you can see, we are done cutting the front part. So we are now going to do what? Take this front part and cut our what? Back parts. Okay, now using the front to cut the back, what do you have to do? Get the material for your what? Back part. As you can see, I've already gotten the material for my back part. Please, there's something you need to do. Make sure that this material for your back part is at least 3 inches wider than the front one. What do I mean? The front one is how many? 11. Are you seeing it? Since the thigh is 22 divided by 2 is what? 11. So make sure it is 3 inches wider than this 11, which will make it what? 14. So even if it is 15, 16, 17, it's not bad. But make sure it's not less than what? 14 inches. Make sure it is what? 3 inches wider than the what? The front. Okay. As you can see, this one is 3 inches wider than the front. So next thing we are going to do, now look at it now. First of all, take your rule and do what? Mark out these measurement points that are very, very necessary. The down part especially, mark it out on top of here. Now the crotch line especially, and also the what? The waist line. It's very, very necessary, please. Okay, as you can see, so next thing we are going to do is that, please, there's something I really want to let us know. Please, from here, the standard I normally use is what? 2 inches. Are you seeing it? Please, you can also reduce it to what? 1.5. Okay, remember I said it is at the back you add the allowance of the what? Short, or even if you are cutting trouser, it is at the back you add the allowance. With this my method, please, there are different methods to use, but with this particular equal method, it's at the back you add the what? Allowance. So from here, from the waist side, you now start adding what? 2 inches. Sometimes I use 1.5, but for the sake of this particular tutorial, I'll be using what? 2 inches. Okay. Now when you reach at the thigh, remember what I told us. For the sake of this particular tutorial, I'll be using what? 3 inches. Please, 3 inches is the least you can use. You can either increase it, making it what? 3.5, 4, 4.5, depending on the what? The person's thigh. Do you understand? Depending on the what? The person's thigh. Let's say example now, the thigh of the person now, okay. Let's say example now. Are you seeing it? Depending on the what? The person's thigh. Now, for a thigh of from 20 to 24, please note this. This is very, very important. Always use what? 3 inches. Okay. For a thigh of 25 to 27, you are going to remember what I said. For a thigh of 20 to 24, use what? 3 inches. For a thigh of 25 to 27, you can use what? 3 inches or 3.5 inches. Then for a thigh of 28 to 34, you can use what? 3.5 inches. Do you understand? To 4 inches. Then from here, you can use what? A thigh of 35 and above, you can use what? The same 3.5 or 4 inches. You can also use above depending on what you have. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to use 3 inches here for the sake of this particular tutorial. So now look at it. From these 3 inches, you now start going down. Here is what? 2.5, the lower part of the thigh. Okay, from here is what? 2. That is how you do it till you do what? Finish. So next thing you are going to do is to do what? Make sure you connect. Connect carefully. Okay, connect very well. Okay, as you can see now, we are done connecting. So next thing we are going to do now is what? We are going to cut it out. Remember what I said at the waist? Just cut everything out equally, provided it is a what? A high waist. Please make sure you do that. Okay, now after you are done cutting off, there's something else I really want you to do. Please make sure you cross check this. Please, there's something I've noticed after people have finished cutting. When some persons have finished cutting, they notice that when they are joining, when they are coupling their trouser, one is always longer from the what? Inseam. Please, in order to avoid that, please make sure you fold this in order to cross check. Fold it equally and check if one is longer. As you can see, one is actually longer. Now look at it very well. Look at it very well. One is actually longer. Look at the one that is longer. Are you seeing it? So all you need to do is to do what? Turn it. Now when you turn it, please make sure you what? Gradually make it equal. Do you understand? Gradually put it towards this curve. Okay, so after you are done doing that, take your scissors and do what? Cut it off. So now when you cut it off, you now notice that both of them are now what? Equal. Are you seeing it? Both of them are. So now when you sew it successfully. Okay, now for the short dart, please always know that the waist dart is usually where at the what? Ghetto line. Officially the waist dart is where at the ghetto, except there is a different way you usually sew your short. That will determine where your back, especially your back waistline with dart line is going to be. Do you understand? So like I said, the dart line is usually where at the what? Ghetto line. Are you seeing this line? That is where the dart line is. Okay, so thank you very much. So please, I want you guys to make sure if you guys really want me to cut this with a normal fabric and sew it, please, there's one thing you have to do for me. If you really want me to do that, please, I really want to see enough likes. Make sure you like this video. Make sure each and every one of you, immediately as you are watching, make sure you like this video. Like this video. If I see enough likes, I'll be encouraged to do more and more. I'll be encouraged to do a video to take a material, cut this short. Do you understand? And continue make you guys happy. And also make sure you subscribe. Please make sure you subscribe. Please, I beg you guys, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video. But the truth is that no matter anything, I'll still keep doing this thing because it is what I love. And see you in my next class. Take care and love you.